Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I have 5 plants that I want to show you guys that are the easiest plants to care for in my collection, and I do have some common and uncommon ones, I would say, depending on the area you're in, I guess. Yeah, so I'm just going to be going over how I care for them and how they're growing, maybe some things that I struggled with, and yeah, things like that. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so starting at number 1 is you can't even see it because of the way that it's growing because the light is from above, but it is my Calathea Warscerwiczii, or the Calathea Jungle Velvet. And this plant recently just gave me this cute little shoot. Like, look at that. It's so freaking adorable. And another reason why I freaking love this plant is because it's velvety, and like when I tell you it's velvety, it's not like any other velvet that I have personally felt. Like, it's so soft, and like the stems are soft. Like, it's just, you're gonna want to touch this plant so much because of the texture and the velvetyness. But I love the purple abaxials. It's literally like, it's so beautiful, and I freaking love this plant, especially photographing it. And then also just the display I have it in these 2 wooden bowls. But like, this plant, I will say that I do struggle a little bit with some crisping. I have always struggled with this, but people always feel a certain way about Calatheas because of this. I'd have to say that it's a combination of my watering and then just like letting it dry out a little bit too much. The reason why I have this at number 1 is because I feel like it's a very vocal plant. Calatheas in general, even like Marantas, anything in the, I don't remember the family name because I don't know too much about that, but Marantas are related to Calatheas. So anything like, anything prayer plant or, you know, Calathea and Maranta, or is it Marantaceae? I think that's the family. And so this one is very, very vocal, and I'm just gonna pick it up by the top bowl, but as soon as it needs water, this leaf will start to curl in right here, like more than it is right now, because this is just curled because it's crispy. Recently, I feel like I'm starting to understand this plant a lot more, but this plant has sort of just been a very consistent grower, even through the winter months where I'm like giving it like almost barely any light. Like, it's nowhere near the top of my shelf. It's growing amazingly, and as soon as it starts to droop, I know it needs water. And if you really underwater, trust me, this plant will tell you. And even when you think this plant is about to freaking croak on you, or it's about to, you know, cross that bridge or whatever, it's not. Like, it literally bounces back. There's like, I know this plant looks like very, very healthy right now. It's like standing up straight and everything. Well, not straight, as you guys can see. I don't know why it did that either, but there was one time where it literally, like, this leaf and this leaf went completely opposite. Like, it was a Y, and I had to hold it up. The last time I checked the roots, when was that? I don't know how long ago I checked the roots on this, but this is the only plant that I have seen consistently give me roots throughout you know, summer, winter, whatever. It's just always consistently giving me roots. I do have it in this shallow bowl, which I feel works really, really great for this plant because it likes being in moisture. Like, it doesn't mind it. So something like a begonia, or, you know, this in here would be perfectly fine, or even an alocasia, honestly. But I love this plant so much, and I got this plant because my friend got a big giant one for like, I forgot how much she got it for, but it had like at least 5 plants in there. I think she still has it, but I love this one, and my sister had one, and I regret not like keeping it in here. I had separated it. But yeah, number 1 is this Calathea Warscerwiczii. And I love pronouncing that. The first time I pronounced it, I was surprised I pronounced it correctly. And now I'm just like, Calathea Warscerwiczii. Like, I love saying it because it's just such a unique name. But yeah, if you don't have one of these, I would definitely recommend getting some. One thing that I forgot to say is that with that one, if you don't want the leaves to crisp, I would definitely recommend to use rainwater or reverse osmosis water or filtered water. I try to do that when I can, but obviously I can't. It's hard for me to provide that every time, but I am in Washington, and it does rain a lot, so I have the rain available to do it, and so if I do, I will. And sometimes I'm just lazy, and I'm like, I don't care, I'm just gonna water it, and I will do it. But yeah, that, just wanted to let you guys know that. Okay, number 2 is this. Not all of these, there's 3 different plants in here, but specifically this variegated Hederaceum. I have had, like, look at this. Oh my goodness. Also, I should say what substrates these are in. This is in semi-hydro, and the Calathea Warscerwiczii is in soil. But just like, look at, I chopped it a couple weeks ago, and it's shooting out 2 growth points at the same time. You can't really see it, but it's up here somewhere. But yeah, this variegated Hederaceum, if you have the chance to get your hands on it, I think PLHC has some, I think it has like a 5-pack for like, or 3 for $5, something like that. And yeah, they are very available near me, and I honestly, this is like one of my favorite, all-time favorite plants, because you just get such a variety of variegation. And like, if you, well, actually no, the leaf that was on here before actually did definitely have a lot more silver. This one is definitely a lot more green and mottled, like the Mojito. But there was a leaf on here before that gave very, very silvery variegation. I don't know what you do to bring that out, but with more light, the more speckled it'll get. I had one on here before I chopped it that was like almost like the marble, like it was very, very white and speckled. Over time, it does harden off to like this very darker green, but when they come out, they're almost like this, like they're very, very white and speckled, and I love that. It kind of reminds me of like the Jose Bueno when it does that. Yeah. And with this plant, it is in semi-hydro, and all I do is I water when I feel that the top is crunchy or the moss pole is crunchy, and that seems to be working fine. Like, the roots on this are crazy. I will tell you right now, because I got this as a propagation, and so when I got it as a propagation, I think this was one of the ones that wasn't rooting up for me. I don't remember. I know this epipremnum wasn't rooting up for me, and then there was something else in that cup with the epipremnum that wasn't rooting up for me. I'm not sure if it was this or if, oh no, it was the Rio. Okay, so yeah, this one, I think I stuck straight into this mix. It is a sphagnum. I've talked about it a lot on my channel. It has sphagnum, I was about to say cocoa core. It has sphagnum, charcoal, pumice, perlite, leca, orchiata, like all, what the heck? Oh. So yeah, it seems to love this mix, and it doesn't like give me any fuss at all. Like, when I had my Mycans in this mix, it was just not happy, and I think that has to do with the fact that I wasn't letting it dry out all the way. But with this, I sort of treat it the same way as I would soil. Like, I still fill a reservoir, but then I let that reservoir dry all the way out, and then I refill it, if that makes sense. So yeah, this plant grows so quickly, and obviously with the right conditions, you know, as long as you're giving this light, and if you want more variegation, you definitely have that freedom of, you know, going for something more like this, and then, you know, this. I think over time it might slowly shift to this, but I just love that. Like, it's ever changing, I guess. That sounds a little bit dramatic, but you get the point. Yeah. Number 2 is this epipremnum. This what is it? Hederaceum. I'll put it up on the screen because I'm not gonna remember it. And another honorable mention that I wanted to include, this, I'm not going to count this as one because I don't really want to give too much on it, but this epipremnum, specifically the elbow, fastest grower in here, second to this obviously. But yeah, if you're thinking about getting an elbow epipremnum, definitely do it, because they are like, look at that. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. Okay, next, I actually decided to put this on the list like right before I filmed this video, because I was like, you know what, this plant has been doing okay. Like, I haven't really experienced anything negative with this plant besides when I first got it, but yeah, I just wanted to include it. It is my Syngonium Mojito. Why am I forgetting the names? I know these names, come on. This is a Syngonium Mojito. Obviously this leaf doesn't have a lot of mojito in it, but this plant is also in the sphagnum mix, and you can see it a little bit better in here. With this plant, I have a little bit of struggles getting it to root. Obviously, it's doing a lot better now. I don't think I'm going to be able to not get any glare, but I put this in water when I first got it, and it had 2 aerial roots, and then it was just sitting in water, and the stem, I don't know if you can see it, but the stem, like the actual end of the node, started to rot off before it even gave me roots. But yeah, this is a Syngonium Mojito. I do have 2 in here, and I am getting my first leaf in, like, this is the first leaf in my care as well. Like, this, I've had this leaf for like the past 6 months, so I'm like excited to get this a lot more full. And I'm actually thinking about chopping it here, but I don't like dealing with wet sticks, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. But yeah, this is also in semi-hydroponics, or I don't like calling it semi-hydroponics, but I do use it semi-hydroponically, so I guess that's why I call it that way. But yeah, sphagnum mix. I fill the reservoir, again, let it dry out until this top is a little bit crunchy, or until you see no moisture pockets, and then, or no moisture in the pockets, not moisture pockets. But yeah, and Syngonium are pretty fast growers with the right conditions. I wasn't giving this the most optimal conditions, so I definitely expect this to start picking up in growth a lot more, because I did also move it up. But then we're also slowly moving into the growing season, which I'm so excited for. But yeah, Syngonium Mojito, and I will pop in some pictures as well of what they can look like, because I feel like this obviously doesn't give it the curb appeal, I guess. Like, I don't know how else to describe that. It doesn't look appealing, besides like obviously the leaf shape and like this. I think that I want to get this like to where it has like triple lobes, you know. I feel like that would be so cool to mess around with. This is such a at least here around me, it is pretty common. It's such a unique plant. Like any Syngonium, even like albos, I feel like they're so unique in the way that they lobe that it's like, why wouldn't you want this plant? And it's just, this plant is making me excited to like experiment with it in the summer. Number 4 is my Alocasia Frydek. And the reason why this is so low on the list is because I have dealt with root rot from this. I do have this in pond, and I do treat this semi-hydroponically, so as soon as the reservoir runs out, I fill it up. Or as soon as I see that the sphagnum on top is starting to get a little bit crunchy, I fill the reservoir back up. I only do that because it's an alocasia, and alocasias really like to be, again, they like moisture like the Calathea. And so I really try not to let this dry out. It doesn't fuss at all. Like if I do let it dry out past when it wants water, then I haven't noticed that it fusses a lot. And also, look at how many leaves we have. Hold on, how do I show this? I have 2 plants in here. I have this one and then this one. This one is dropping a leaf, but it's also giving me a leaf. And it is winter, so I honestly expected this alocasia to drop all of its leaves and only keep one, which it did do at the beginning of winter because I was transferring it into pond. But it slowly gave me, like, oh my god, it's so jumpy. It's like a spring. But it slowly gave me more and more leaves, and I'm so happy that this wasn't like stuck in the 1 leaf club, and I'm excited to see how it's gonna grow this summer too. But I love the Frydek. I know technically, if you didn't know, this is called a Micholitziana, and then the variegated version of this one is the Frydek, if that makes sense. So yeah, but this is also commonly known as the Frydek. They're sort of used interchangeably between the two. With the actual Frydek, you'll just say a variegated Frydek. But yeah, this is a Micholitziana, and I love it. Like, I feel like alocasias and me are just like this now. Like, I just get them, and I'm hoping that after this video, this plant doesn't just croak. But I love the roots on this, at least from the last time I saw them. I just love them. They don't really, like, go outwards toward the vessel that I've noticed. They more stay inside where the moisture sort of gets, like, hugged and stuff. But yeah, I love this alocasia so much. I will say, this is one of the only plants that well, not only, but this is one of the few plants that I have struggled with pests on. When I first got this, it did have spider mites, and then recently I did see some fishy business going on, so I think that, you know, we're heading that way pretty quickly, and I think it even got to my props. And this is right next to my Calathea Warscerwiczii, and so if this gives spider mites to my Calathea, I'm chopping all the leaves off. I don't care. I was painting yesterday, and so I got a little paint mark on here. I'll take it off later, but yeah, so I have experienced spider mites with this alocasia. I haven't experienced it with my other alocasias. I think that with spider mites, they do like a little bit thinner leaves because they also attacked my freaking Dracaena. And so I think that with thinner leaves, with spider mites, they like thinner leaves. But what I did to treat them was I literally just grabbed a gentle foaming face wash, scrubbed the leaves, left it on there while I went to go do something, and then came back, washed it off. And I did this with like the bare roots out, so like I rinsed all the roots. I didn't wash the roots, I just rinsed them off. And then on the leaves is where I used that gentle foaming thing. And yeah, after that, it was honestly fine. Like, I didn't really experience anything with this one specifically. But if it is a bigger plant, I would, like with my Dracaena, I definitely treated it a lot differently than this one. I still scrubbed it, but it wasn't as, like, final. Like, I didn't just scrub it and they were gone. I had to sort of do some more after that. What I did for that was I just mixed up a solution in a little spray bottle with alcohol and a little bit of dish soap, like literally a drop of dish soap. And then for the alcohol, I would just put like a small like cap full of alcohol in there. I wouldn't put too much because you don't want to, you know, harm the plant with that. But yeah, I would just spray that on there, and then I don't even think I would rinse it off, honestly. I would just spray it on there and leave it. I wouldn't give that advice to just spray it on there and leave it. If you have the time to wash it off and rinse it off, I would definitely recommend doing that. But I just got lazy and I left it there. But yeah, this is the Alocasia Frydek, or the Micholitziana. I love this plant so much, and I will try to put the names up so that if you guys are wondering how to spell them or things like that. Okay, lastly, and there's a reason why this one is also last. It is the Splendid, which I recently got, and I have had, that's also another reason why I wanted to put it last, because I don't have too much experience with this, but the growth on this, like, the growth that it has given me is what has made me want to put it on this list. And so this plant, the main reason why this plant is on this list last is because I did recently experience some root rot. That is because of personal issues that I have going on with my freaking soil mix. Yeah, I've been trying to aerate it and try and make it a little bit more chunky than it is now. But yeah, my soil mix is just not made preferably to me, so I am gonna, you know, fix that hopefully soon, because I don't really enjoy the soil mix that I have right now. But yeah, this plant is now in this small little cup. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, I just noticed that there was a new leaf coming out. See what I mean? Like, this plant, it is a hybrid, by the way. It is a hybrid of Melano, calm down. Okay, this is a hybrid of Philodendron melanochrysum and Philodendron verrucosum, and the leaves on this, like, especially when they get like mature, they are so beautiful. And even this leaf now, like, I love this leaf so much, and it gives me the same feeling as like the Calathea almost. The Calathea is a little bit softer, I will admit, but it's a velvet leaf philodendron. And yeah, with this, I just water whenever I feel that the bottom, like inside of the moss pole, is starting to get dry, and that has been working pretty okay with me. There was once when I left it to dry out a little bit too much, and I recognized that this plant did not like that. So I wouldn't say to let this dry out completely. And I don't want to say that because I don't like using that, because it's not that the soil, I feel like with this plant you can't let it get bone dry, which with any other plant besides like a cactus or maybe like a Hoya, you wouldn't really do that. And so with this one, I just try to focus on how much moisture I feel in the moss pole, because the moss pole, the inside of the moss pole too, by the way, so let me take this off, that's a little bit distracting, but like inside of here, like almost behind the stem, I'm already touching, it's gonna tell me what moisture is like in the center of everything, because there is some soil down here as well, and so it's really gonna tell me a lot. If you don't have it on a moss pole, I would say using like a chopstick, or even like just any stick, honestly. And if the soil is still clumping onto the stick, then it is not your time to water. But yeah, philodendrons I've noticed like a little bit of moisture still in their, not as much as like an alocasia obviously, but they do like a little bit more moisture in their soil. This plant has also been a big like turnover, I would say, for my collection. This plant is the one that has made me want to keep multiples. So I have these cuttings in a semi-hydro mix. This is again the sphagnum mix, and it is on a pole. And so far they're doing okay. I think they actually started to root up a little bit more because the last time I felt these two leaves are one cutting and then this leaf is one. They felt really thin, and now they definitely feel a little bit more plumper. So I definitely think that they're starting to grow some roots. They both have very small roots, but it's not anything that can, you know, suffice for the plant. So I'm glad that it's clearly growing a little bit more roots, I think. And then I also have it on a lazy moss bowl. So yeah, this one is in semi-hydro, and I do the same thing for this as I do for the variegated heartleaf. And it seems to work. With this, I do tend to keep it a little bit more moist because they are propagations and they were in water, so they're a little bit used to a little bit more moisture, but slowly I will sort of let it dry out a little bit more. But yeah, I'm excited, and that's why I say that this plant really, you know, did a turnover, like flipped the script for my collection and the way I viewed my collection. And I think for a lot of these plants now, they really have, because before I was like sworn on not keeping multiples, but now it's like I really want, like I want to, honestly. Like the reason why I propagated my heartleaf philodendron was because I wanted to keep multiples. And so yeah, this plant I have like at least 10 cuttings, and I think I'm planning on keeping them all because I just enjoy this plant so much. I'm definitely gonna give some to like my family members and stuff, but I love this plant so much, and I would definitely recommend you try growing this plant. Recently, this is also very similar to like a glorious. Recently I did find some cuttings for $5, and I'm still like contemplating whether I should go for it or not. It is an hour away though, so I'm like, oh, I don't think so. Yeah, now I'm just getting sidetracked. But yes, this is number 5, the Philodendron Splendid. I was about to say melanochrysum. Yeah, the Philodendron Splendid. Okay, and that is it for this video. I really enjoyed putting this together. I haven't done one of these in so long, and I think the last one I did was like an hour long. Yeah. So yeah, this is top 5 easiest plants in my collection. And I probably should have put this disclaimer earlier in the video, but all of these plants are easy for me right now. This could definitely change in a couple of months, in a couple of, you know, weeks even, which this one did change like very, very quickly. But don't expect something that's easy for me to be easy for you, because my conditions are definitely different from what you have at your home. So take everything here with a grain of salt, and if you want to try something, even if someone says that it's difficult, give it a try and see how it grows for you. I don't want people thinking that I'm like flaunting these plants as like, oh yeah, I have a green thumb, because I definitely don't. I have struggled with all of these plants in my own way, and it's all a part of the process, and that's what's just so great about this hobby. But I don't want to get too, you know, sidetracked, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know any plants that you guys find really easy, or any struggles that you guys have had with these plants. I know for the Splendid, people, is it the Splendid? I think it's the Variegated. So yeah, the parentage of the Splendid is known to be a spider mite magnet, so I would definitely, you know, watch out for that. But with any plant, you sort of have a risk for pests, so yeah. Again, with me getting sidetracked. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed.